we watched 2 series in the playoffs. We would all agree the playoffs is more replicative of what they need to do than the regular season. So let's go to the playoffs. Who was more of an anchor? Who was more of a dog? Kevon Looney or Draymond Green? You answer the question for me.
I think it was Looney.
How anyone could say Draymond was better than Looney in the 2 playoff series is tripping.
And see, this is
tripping.
This is why this all season, this crossroads we're at with the Golden State Warriors, and everything going on with them. Because, look, man, Draymond Green is a valuable asset. He is. But against the LA Lakers, they said, please play Draymond Green because we're going to rest on defense against him. You can't be a one-way player anymore. Even Kevon Looney. I want to see Looney shoot the mid-range jumper more. Yes. I think he's had it. I see him shoot it in more. I was like, shoot it more.
Well, I think his offensive ability is actually more restricted with Draymond on the floor with him.
Exactly. And it kills the shooter spacing. Yes. We talked about that all season long. You need a one big lineup, but maybe Looney's better as a 25-minute backup center if you had somebody else, but you're probably not going to get that this year because of the financial restrictions that you have on your basketball team. But every time we discuss Draymond Green, it's fascinating because it's hard to separate the championships. I get it. Trust me. It's hard for me to criticize a 4-time champion who's given us the best time of our lives as basketball fans in the Bay Area. And people, whenever we say one thing about Draymond Green, it's, man, you're in your feelings. You're this and that. We're just assessing basketball. We're assessing basketball, and we're assessing what happened on and off the floor and how some things, how is it acceptable in today's game? Sometimes you got to evolve as a leader, right? Sometimes you got to evolve as a basketball player. That leadership was lost this year because of what happened in training camp. It was. And every time he tried to get it back, he talked about it. It was like, maybe less is more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe less is more. So it's not, we hate Draymond Green. Nobody hates Draymond Green. When he gets his jersey retired here in the Bay Area, we're all going to give him a standing ovation. And we're going to say, thank you, Draymond, for the great times. And we're going to ignore what happened off the floor. We're going to ignore some of the stuff that we don't like. That's real. Those are facts. Nobody hates Draymond Green. We're assessing the situation. What I do hate, though, and I'll say this right now, what I do hate is the youngsters getting blamed for everything. Now, are they perfect? Absolutely not. I said it on the front end. We disagree with this. When Kuminga went to the Chronicle, I did not like that. I did not like him storming off the court in Game 3 against Sacramento and going to the end of the bench.
I just think I was more delicate with understanding he's young, he's speaking in a second language. He may not understand the impact of what he's doing. But it's not a good look, which I acknowledge.
It's not a great look. Jordan Poole's defense, oh my gosh. It drove us all crazy. Him slipping left and right on the floor drove us insane. Insane. He was inconsistent. We're assessing situations here. I just don't think it's fair to say, oh, it was all the youngsters. They were moping. They weren't up to speed, and we were the championship team because of it. No. Some of the veterans didn't play like champions.
Yeah.
Clay was inconsistent at times. Clay, he came in, and I get why he did it, but he wasn't in shape. Steve Kerr called him out.
I know. You know, let me ask you another question, because this is something that I found interesting as we kind of like go through the Warriors' carcass here at the end of the year. Did the Bob Myers heading into the final year as a lame duck GM, was that good or bad for the Warriors?
Didn't feel like it was good.
For anyone, right?
Didn't feel like it was good.
You can't do that again with Steve Kerr. You got to make a decision. Like, you got to make a decision whether you want him to be here. Like, if he gives him an extension, he's going to be here 15 years.
Right.
And you got to understand that. And I was just thinking about this. And, you know, I know people don't like the finance talk. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But I was just thinking, the Phoenix Suns just gave a huge deal to an assistant coach for $2 million.
Right.
Okay. We were talking about paying the GM, like, what, $15 million? That's what the guy up in Philadelphia is making, $15 million a year.
Daryl Morey.
Okay. We talk so much about luxury tax and how much the team roster costs. What we don't talk about is the hidden costs of the front office and the coaching staff. And I'm not here to cape up for Lacob and all that. I'm asking you, would you feel comfortable with a $25 million payroll for your staff if you give Steve Kerr, let's say, $15 million a year, you match what Monty Williams is making right now, and then you pay off that bench, and then you're paying Dunleavy, and I don't know what Dunleavy's asking. I'm just saying, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Of money.
That's a lot to invest in your coaching. Yep. And you're telling me I can't develop any young players? I can't save you money on the roster by finding a couple of young players? So I think that there's a conversation here to be had about if I'm investing that much in my coaching staff and my coaching staff is turning to me and saying, I can't make a $3 or $4 million player who's a rookie into a 8-minute-a-night contributor, to me as the owner, I got a problem there.
Whoa.
That's a lot of money I'm investing in my staff to tell me, no, I can only do this with veterans.
And Joe Lacob will probably want answers because he loves him some Jonathan Kuminga. Joe Lacob loves Kuminga. Loves him. Love James Wiseman. His plan was to have these youngsters get up to speed to help these veterans out. I don't think Joe Lacob was happy about the way the year played out. And now, I think Joe Lacob is speaking to all of us. He hasn't given Steve Kerr that extension yet. He hasn't. And then now he's remaining quiet. Why is Joe Lacob quiet now?
Because I think he's thinking about what he wants to do.
Exactly.
I think the quietest man in the room is the most dangerous.
Exactly. So Joe Lacob.
But would you feel comfortable? Like, let me ask you. Like,
would I feel comfortable?
I
wouldn't care because it's not my money.
No. I'm talking about. Would you feel comfortable having Steve Kerr coach this season after what happened last year without a contract extension? Do you think that would be good for your organization if you were running it?
It would be good if everybody could be professional and not bring it up. And then you come back at the end of the table saying, but I get the questions will come. I personally like making players play in a contract year, personally.
Okay.
Because I think you get the best out of them.
No, that's just why I'm asking.
Because they're playing for their money. So if Steve Kerr.
On one element, as a businessman, I think you're right.
I think if I'm Joe Lacob, I sit back. You don't have to make a move yet.
But don't you also understand that there are personalities involved and there's a human element? And some guys don't necessarily work well.
They don't respond to that.
Yeah.
And that could be a problem. That could be a problem.
Would you feel I'm just asking you, would you feel comfortable spending $25 million on a front office and a head coach? And that's
if you want to be the best.
Let's say it's like 18 to 20 million. And then they're telling you, yeah, we can't develop any young players.
Those guys are printing money down there.
I'd be a little pissed.
Those guys are printing money down there. They're printing money. I would feel comfortable with it personally. Say, hey, let's play this out.
Now, to his credit, he did offer. Now, we don't know the timeline because there's times like if you offer like, hey, hon, let's get married now. No, I've been dying to get married for the last 6 years and I'm ready to leave you because you weren't ready to commit to me. Like, I understand that element of timing has passed. In his defense, he did offer the most amount of money apparently to Bob Myers. When was it?
But here's the problem. Did he do that originally?
That's what I'm saying.
Was the initial deal worth what Murray was? And from what I hear, it wasn't. The first couple deals, it wasn't up to Murray's speed. And that's where it should have started. Bob Myers is a better GM than Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey's overrated, in my opinion.
I agree.
What has Daryl Morey ever done?
I agree he's better.
All right?
But the way business, I don't want to go crazy on this. Just because Deshaun Watson got 240
no doubt.
doesn't mean that Lamar Jackson's going to get 180.
But that's the game you play now.
Yes, now I hear you.
Buddy Williams?
From your negotiation play, you're right. You do play it that way.
I'm Bob Myers. I'm saying, this guy's making that much. Here's my jewelry. Where's his jewelry at? Look at my moves compared to his moves. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot there. Let's get to these calls quick. I know we're going to talk Niners.
Yeah.
We're going to get to Flynn. We'll get to the Niners because there's a lot there. We got caught up in the Warriors here. There's a lot to chew on with the Golden State Warriors this offseason. This offseason is going to be fascinating. Let's get to May Money in Oakland. Then we'll get to Greg. What up, May Money?
Hey.
Good
morning.
Morning. Top of the morning.
Time no talk.
We got your gifts, May Money. We love your gifts.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you like it.
These are luggage claim tags. I like this. SFO. It's got the Niners and the Giants on there. And then Oakland, OAK, with the Warriors and the Bridges. Really cool. Really cool. Thank you.
I got an A's one if you want that one.
Oh, you get it, Joe Spadoni.
Does that say Vegas or Oakland on it?
Oh, God.
That was a joke. I apologize to A's fans.
Shasky said it, not me.
I apologize to A's fans. They're probably not going to Vegas now.
Okay.
Team market.
Well, I wanted to drop in on this Draymond talk real quick since we're here, since we've logged into this. The reason why I haven't called in a minute is because I couldn't really talk about the Warriors without cursing. So I thought it would be best to hold my tongue
Well, don't curse now. What you got on the Warriors?
Yeah, no, I know I won't. No, I'm good now. I'm really. But the thing about it is they've been fighting. They've been fighting all season in the locker room. You could tell. I don't need my tarot cards to investigate on this. They've been fighting in the locker room. The big three. I think Steph, Clay, and Dre have been fighting all season, and it's just cast a kind of a shadow over the entire season, and they need to figure it out.
Yeah.
The way that Draymond was hugging up on LeBron after that game, I mean, Clay looks sick. He looked like he wanted to throw up in his mouth. So I just think they need to get it together.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it's gonna crumble. People that are that close, they're going to fight. They're going to not have their good times. They just need to really get it together. I think Draymond kind of needs to go. I think he's kind of just too selfish at this point. And I don't think he's going to be traded. I think he should just retire and go into media.
Wow.
Honestly.
Wow.
Take
that Fox job that Tom Brady's not going to take.
Why wasn't Draymond on TNT this postseason? After they got eliminated. He wasn't on postseason.
That's a great
He wasn't on
question.
TNT. Usually works with them and breaks down the playoffs and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, that's interesting because I know he's got a contract with them. And look, Draymond Green, here's what we do know. The Draymond Green conversation is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. Why? Because he's a champion.
Yeah.
And it's tough to move on from champions.
Yeah.
Think about how tough it was to move on from Brandon Belt. Think about how tough it is to move on from Brandon Crawford. Think about all the champions in the past. It's tough to move on from them.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable even think about life without Draymond Green.
Do you struggle right now watching Bruce Bochy do what he's doing?
I'm happy for Boch. I don't struggle with it. I'm happy for Boch. He used to go out on his terms.
Time
and he's down in
it.
Texas. Yeah, he did what he did in San Francisco. I think personally, it was time for him to go.
Okay.
I thought he was slipping a little bit in San Francisco.
The way it went down wasn't clean.
It wasn't clean, but it's never going to be clean.
No, that's
You
true.
know?
Breakups are always ugly.
It's
My
tough.
buddy Eric Jones said it years ago. When two people break up that you're friends with, it's always uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So-
but Madison Bumgarner too. Even when he wore a Diamondbacks uniform, the first year it was it's tough. But eventually it was we probably dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I didn't. Because think about how rare it is. I was listening to Rasheed Wallace. He was all Worldwide Rob Perez,
Oh,
who
yeah.
does a podcast,
Yeah.
and she was talking about guarding Tim Duncan in the finals. He goes, man, Tim Duncan was that dude.
Yeah.
I remember him. They battled
The
at Wake
big
Forest, North
fundamental.
Carolina. Yeah, the big fundamental. And he was talking about. Look, think about how rare it is for a player to stick with one organization. Kobe, Dirk, Tim Duncan. We hope that Steph Curry continue retire. We
Yeah.
hope that Klay Thompson. Hell, I hope Draymond Green retires to go to State Warrior. Well, it don't feel like it is. Doesn't feel like that way with the way things are playing out.
Yeah,
but to me, I know it's not a common theme. So I don't. When the player moves on, it's all right, man. It's a little strange at first to see him in another uniform, but you move on very quickly. That's what I do personally.
No, I hear you, but it's interesting. We do this thing. You got to retire in a uniform. You got to retire. Will Clark didn't. Frank Gore didn't.
Jerry Rice didn't.
Joe
Montana didn't.
Terrell Owens, Joe Montana. I mean, all
Ronnie
these
Lott,
guys.
Roger Craig.
Chris Mullen.
Said
Rick Barry.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Wilt
not.
Chamberlain.
It's okay to move on.
No, but but why do we do okay? Is Buster Posey is Buster Posey that much more honorable than Lincecum, who wanted to go to the
No.
Angels because he kept wanting to keep playing?
No.
Is it that much more honorable? No, I get there's some specialness around it. You get that Jeter feel. Hey, Jeter only played for the Yankees. Well, if Jeter was a Royal, would he have stayed with the Royals his entire
Right.
career?
No.
And,
Probably not.
and Dirk and Reggie Miller and Kobe, hopefully Steph, those are rare.
Well, people, they may think Barry Bonds was a lifelong Giant. Youngsters forget, oh, wait, he was a Pittsburgh Pirate?
Yeah, exactly.
Willie
Willie McCovey played for the Padres?
Exactly.
What?
Yeah, right? Vita Blue played on both sides of the bay.
Yeah.
The
I don't know. I think that we do this gotta retire in a
baby
uniform.
bull.
Right now.
The baby bull has a statue.
Brandon Belt, who's, I think, just my particular opinion, I don't hold him in the same regard as I do Clay and Draymond. I hold them in high regard, but I don't hold them in the same regard as Clay and Draymond. Maybe some people do. Is anyone like shedding tears that he's playing for Toronto in the final year of his career?
Yeah, nobody.
I'm not.
I'm definitely not.
And good for him. He's playing well now, finally. Right. Great.
Let's go to people get wrapped up about Draymond. When we always say this. I want to get to Greg of Walnut Creek. There's polarizing figures in the Bay Area since I've been in radio and since you've been in radio. Just the last 10 years alone. Yeah. Kevin Durant, Jimmy Garoppolo, Draymond Green. I don't even think
that's
it's
the
close.
Holy Trinity?
I think it's not even close.
Jordan Poole's up there.
Well, now he's starting to rise because he's been on the opposite end and has divided his fan base.
Trey Lance, Brock Purdy.
We'll see.